everybody, welcome to another episode of Fans and Jerseys. Today we're going to amend our previous video. Hope you like it.
Yeah, we've got a few changes. Unfortunately, we have a few injuries. Fabian Johnson and Bobby Wood, they're out for this group.
Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, those two guys are playing well right now. We could certainly use them to get 3 points in these coming games. But we brought in some guys who hopefully will step up in their absence.
Yeah, it is too bad. There are some of our top players that we have, and it's really not going to look too good for us when our top striker and our top winger really are injured. Fabian Johnson really is a utility guy. So who we have coming in, we've got Graham Zusi, Sasha Kleshton, and also in addition to make our 24-man roster, 25-man roster, Matt Beasler.
Yeah. I think Zusi was brought in to play right back. We were initially thinking he was going to be on the original roster, but Arena left him off. You know, it happens.
Yeah, kind of interesting that Graham replaces Fabian Johnson. Maybe a little insight into where Fabian Johnson was going to play, potentially at right back. So maybe there's a little panic there with Orozco being our only true right back now. So now we've got two, Graham Zusi, Michael Orozco, a little more solidified. Still not fantastic.
Yeah.
Zusi's fairly unknown at right back, and Orozco has performed terribly in men's national team uniform. To be frank, these guys have got to step up.
Yeah, I mean, Zusi played well against Jamaica. He was beat a couple times with speed, which concerns me a little bit in these coming games. But there were no glaring, terrible mistakes other than that.
Right, he didn't make mental mistakes. He made mistake. It's not even really a mistake when you're out athleticized by somebody else.
Just a limitation of his ability right there.
Right, so maybe you're going to see more of what you talked about with a 4 back line and then 2 center defensive midfielders in the front of them, in Acosta and Bradley, or even Dax and Bradley, to help him out over there.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would do, honestly. You don't want to go in and have two goals scored on you in the first 30 minutes.
Right.
I'd rather park the bus for a little bit, get into our groove, and then attack.
Yeah. And let our attacking 4 or 5 or whatever we're going to put out there do what they do best.
Right, which kind of leads us to Sasha Kleshton. He's an attacking player. Unfortunately, since he was left off the original roster, doesn't look like he's going to start.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not the worst thing. We're going to need speed up top with the lacking backs that we have now. So maybe Christian Pulisic, Darlington, Nagby, Alejandro Bedoya, those guys like to get back and get forward.
Yeah.
Guys that can run for 90 minutes, that's important.
Yeah. Kleshton doesn't have the same speed as those guys. He's more of a kind of a guy who's nipping at your heels the whole time. But those guys are going to definitely put in more work than Kleshton would. I could see him maybe starting the second game, but I think this first game, he'll probably sit the bench.
Yeah, with Honduras being the second game, they're less of attacking prowess, I would say. They have less of ability to really just go in and score 2 goals right off the bat. With Kleshton being in there, you have the ability to control the ball a little better and have a building attack.
Yeah. So the other guy who just got brought in is Beasler. He's going to bolster our backline, which kind of, to me, signifies that maybe Cameron might be out there at right back. And he might go back to Brooks and Beasler in the middle, or Brooks and Gonzalez and then Beasler as a backup.
Right. Either that or Tim Ream could be there at left back. So we're not really sure how that's going to go. Like you said, Cameron could play at right back. I'm not sure how that's going to go. Obviously, he's good wherever he's going to play, but you want to have your center backs have a good relationship, and obviously Brooks and Cameron did.
Yeah. I know we've harped on that a few times, that we just want consistency right there. And those are our best 2 options. Beasler he's a really good player, but those two are better than him right now.
Right. That and Cameron is really good at communicating. So when you leave him over there on the flank, you're not going to get as good communication. Potentially John Brooks could step up in his place and lead a back line. He's been doing well over there at Hertha Berlin with the communication, obviously playing really well over there. So maybe he can make up for that with new experience that he's gained over the last year. We can hope.
Yeah. So a couple of guys who may have been considered to be brought in as replacements. Emerson Hyndman, I know you love him. He's coming up. He's playing really, really well over there in the Scottish Premiership, and he could have potentially been brought in instead of Sasha Kljestan.
Yeah, I know there's a huge following of fans that Hyndman's gained over the last year with all the goals that he's been scoring.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that he'd get a longer look here, not as a starter necessarily, but somebody who could be brought in to see what they'd have. Unfortunately, he wasn't brought in. Probably, well, he better be a Gold Cup guy.
Yeah.
You don't go on a streak like he has and not get looked at. I think Arena's made a mistake there.
The only thing I can think of is Chris Arena might not want to break up his routine he's got going. He wants him over there. He's comfortable over there right now. He wants him to stay in a groove. So maybe he's just waiting to bring him in for a Gold Cup, and where he can have him for a longer period of time.
Yeah, that could be his line of thinking. But when you have a guy in that kind of streak, it's kind of hard not to wonder why he wasn't brought in.
I mean, the only other thing is maybe he knows who he's going to start up top. I mean, we've got Pulisic, we've got Bedoya, Nagby, those guys, Leggett, that are probably going to start. So maybe he just didn't want to bring him in to come off the bench.
Yeah, that could be. We'll probably leave it at that. I think there's a long debate to be had on whether he should have been brought in or not. Obviously, Acosta was brought in, and he's on a similar streak. The other guys that we have up there, Benny Feilhaber, Julian Green, these guys have been playing well. Obviously, Feilhaber was brought in during January camp, and he'd done well there. Green's been doing well overseas.
Yeah. I think with Feilhaber, it's just Feilhaber a question at this point. Arena pick question this time. He'll probably go Feilhaber next time if Sasha doesn't assert himself.
Yeah, Sasha's got to have a good game because Feilhaber's right on his heels.
Yeah.
That or both of them could be left off like they were for the 24-man originally if these young guys step up.
Yeah. Which we're hoping that happens. That's the case.
Absolutely. So that's our amendments to our 24, now 25-man roster. Let us know what you think in the comments down below or tweet at us, Buswell_USA. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya. Is it higher?
Is it lower?
No, do you have that thing higher?
Oh yeah. Well, your head is still like 3/4 of the screen.
Okay.
Not 3.
It's
Your head is enormous.